Afternoon, Bill.
Yeah, hello, Mark. Afternoon, and we're doing our third podcast today, which is quite good. We've had some interesting conversations this morning, haven't we?
They've been good. Very good, actually. Very diverse, I think, is the word we're looking for.
Oh, I think you might say that. And since whilst we've been waiting, we've been sitting here chatting about various issues and been talking about some family business issues that we come across, and the conversations and the succession planning that families need to go through. And because we have interviewed an expert in wills and family issues with Amy Fisher in the past.
Yep.
And it is a complex situation for lots of families.
An emotive complex.
Well, it is emotive, anyway.
Anyway, who's today's guest, Bill?
Well, today we're talking to Michael Kenneady, and I first met Michael officially on a Rotary tour of Lazarus House. And Michael is the general manager of Lazarus House, which is well known in our region and in Geelong for the fantastic activity they carry out looking after the homeless here. And it's rather unique because it's based in the old Geelong prison. And Michael and the crew team there and so many volunteers, I don't know how many, we'll find out soon, have finally got approval and funding, private funding I might add, to refurbish part of the prison, which was the old, I think, was it the Waters Kitchen or something, Michael? What was it?
It was the old visitation centre
for
people that were incarcerated. So it's the families that would come and see people that were actually in the prison itself.
That's right. And Michael, in his capacity running Lazarus House, is operating out of the old Governor's House, which is in great need of repair, I might tell you. So I'm sure he's looking forward to moving into the new premises. So I was very impressed.
So welcome, Michael.
No, thank you all. Yeah. I really appreciate this. And it's actually technically my first podcast I've ever done. So I feel like there's a little bit of history in the making here.
We'll start at the bottom and climb your way up. So, So Michael, where was primary school?
Yeah, so for me, I was born in 1984, so I'm 42 this year. I was originally born in Colac, but my first couple of years was down in Wangara at the back of the hills of Apollo Bay with the parents. They were dairy farmers and stuff, and then we moved out to a place, I was about 2 years of age, out to a place called Derived, which was home of the snake is what they had in Aboriginal terms.
Oh, wow.
There was more population of cows than people. I think there was about probably 10 to 12 of us out there with all the farmers and all the kids and things. And we had one little primary school there, and it was a very, very remote area, about probably 8 to 10 k's away from Forest and Bowen Down. So a very, very tiny community with maybe a tennis court, a CFA shed, and the primary school, which obviously is not there anymore.
And family running a farm then, Michael, for you to be down there?
Yeah. So my mum and dad ran a farm, a dairy farm for around close to 50 years. So down around, again, was started at Wangara where his old man started. Then he took over his old man's farm at Wangara and then wanted, instead of having to plough the hills and rolling tractors and motorbikes, my dad wanted to go to flatter land, so went out to Durangameet, and I think they bought in around 1986, and then they sold in around 2002, I think it was.
Okay. So were you early days up early milking cows before school?
Yeah, so my school holidays was not like every other kid's school holidays generally, especially in, say, Geelong, and wanted to have fun and lots of things like that. But, we were, you did a lot of stuff for love for the family. So, milking the cows and picking up jobs and stuff from hoeing thistles to help with the calving season, to helping with the hay season. And, when you've got hay fever, it's not great in the hay season. Look, a really great way to live as well. Everyone knew each other and everyone helped each other out and stuff, especially as country people. So everyone knew everyone. It was just a nice little tight-knit community.
And high school?
Yeah, so Colac High School. So had to catch a bus. I think it was about 7:30 in the morning to pick up all the kids that sort of remotely around the remote communities, and went to Colac High School till year 12.
Okay.
So, Michael, is Colac High School the one that were closed down? That building on the main road?
Yeah, that has.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it ended up only about 5 or 6 years ago. It's all gone into development now, it's
Yeah.
housing development. So yeah, so the old Colac High School was quite an old one.
Yeah.
A little bit like our primary school one. Our primary school was one of the first 100 schools built around Victoria as well. So with all the loggers and all that sort of stuff in the Otways. So there was lots of history.
Well, we interviewed a guy from Africa somewhere, Michael, who now owns the Treasure Hunter, a gift shop in Colac, and his school didn't have a roof on it.
So it's quite interesting
that's
when
not
you
bad at all.
So while you were at high school, did you have any ambitions about what you'd like to be, or was the farm beckoning, or what was your thoughts?
I definitely knew I was not going to be a farmer very early on, so I did tell my parents I'm not continuing this legacy with the generations of farmers in the family. But what they did do though, I grew up in a very unique way. So my mum and dad did foster care for roughly 22, 23 years. Started before I was born. So I was basically born in with the family, surrounded by a lot of kids coming into our care and support, leaving obviously families with family domestic violence, drug and alcohol addictions, mainly a lot from Geelong at those days, because we were a very good avenue to get kids out of the city into the country air and actually give them the love and support and stuff away from abusive families and stuff. And unfortunately, a lot of horrible situations, a lot of ways growing up. It did make me grow up quite quickly, but obviously learning that real compassion and support and just patience and just understanding that every human should get a chance in life. And for me, I feel like with all the work that I've done in all my life, I feel like I've never worked a day in my life, because I feel like it's very much a passion of mine, but also it's the niche, and all I've known is just the community space, because I've done that since day one.
Well, you certainly got that challenge in front of you right now. And so, first job out of school?
Does milking cows count when you're not getting paid?
No, that's slave labour. That goes with your upbringing.
That's experience.
Yeah, my first official paid job would have been probably McDonald's, actually, in Colac on the weekend, just before going to play football in the afternoon on a Saturday morning. So having to open up the Colac McDonald's, getting out there at 4:30 in the morning, having to make sure it's all ready to open by 6 a.m. And I think I was about 4:15, so it's just before I got my hours.
Oh, and it's a busy McDonald's, that one.
Yeah.
I know that from experience.
So what was your next step? What was your first sort of serious job? Not saying McDonald's isn't serious, but your next.
Look, so so actually, because obviously my mum knew the skills I had as a youngster, as a 15-year-old. So she was working at Glastonbury Child and Family Services, which now is Mallee.
Yep.
Which also it's changed a few places as well. But originally Glastonbury Child and Family Services, my mum was working with a family in Leopold, and there was 4 kids there, and one particular kid with ADHD went through around about 21 to 22 workers in about 6 months, and no one could really fit and try to really support him as best as possible. So my mum put my hand up for that particular role, to see if I help that family out, because she was also helping them out as well. So I actually went down there with her to support this person one-on-one. It was an interesting character, had a lot of behaviours with concerns and stuff, but one of the biggest things was that he'd always try to, with any worker, would try to break some of their property or something like that. So because a lot of people had their cars, he'd go and try to do something to a car, scratch it or throw a rock or whatever they could find. And because I was only 15, when I was talking to him and he said something, and I said, "Oh, no, I'm not sure if we can do that," then his first response and reaction was, "Oh, I'm going to go grab something, do something to your car." Now, as I was trying to explain to him as he's going out the door with his iron in his hand that he's got out of the laundry, I said, "You're not going to be able to find my car out there," because I did get told previously that he does do damages to staff cars. That I said, "I'm only 15, I don't even drive yet." So he couldn't actually kind of hurt me in property sense. It really made a really good connection with him early on to say, look, hey, I'm only 7 years older than you are. I can be like your big brother. Hey, let's go out and have some fun. So we started just really connecting in with sports and stuff and really using his energy. And then that actually broke his just the habits of, the behaviours with concerns and just really try to control situations and try to humanise it all and try to say, hey, we're not all here. We're all trying to here to support you as best we can. And that's sort of how the journey started for me. So I worked with them for about 12 months. And then, I finished high school, high school up until year 12. And then basically, fell into the disability world quite early. So I was working at Coringal for a little bit as well. Was there for 12 years, and I had a 2 or 3 year gap in between a little bit. Worked in real estate for a couple of years.
And then was that to reset the batteries?
Oh, it was just I'm just trying to look at the timeline how this all happened. So it was actually might have been just before Coringal. Actually, it was when I finished year 12. That's when it was. I finished year 12, and I was playing cricket for Illawarra Cricket Club, and one of the guys there was worked at Charles Stewart's Real Estate, and so basically he said, "Look, we need a receptionist. We think you'd be good receptionist for Charles Stewart's." And so because we had the livestock background, they do all the livestock and real estate. So helping out with all the livestock departments. So when it comes to invoicing and all the sale yards, from the Geelong sale yards to Ballarat to Colac and Bendigo and Warrnambool. So was running all that for a couple of years and then went into the rental department for a little while and then into sales. I enjoyed it, but I wasn't passionate about it. And I really thought I really enjoyed supporting people and that in a different way. And obviously for me, real estate, it's great, good job, but it's a bit of a dog-eat-dog world a little bit. But for me, I felt like my passion, but also my energy that I could bring, I feel like I can change the world a lot further.
That's very cool. It's great to hear that, from an early age and your knowledge of, dealing with people was lived experience with all the kids in the house, that you've finally got to a point where you could follow a passion, and that's really impressive, and it's an opportunity.
Did you do any qualifications or training, Michael, to help you on your journey?
Yeah, so a lot of modules and stuff, certificates in disability and community as well, training assessments. A lot of little ones, a couple of years here and there. Most of it's been because I started quite early, my experience sort of exceeded my qualifications because I did fall into it at around about sort of 2021 with Coringal, and I worked at Coringal for about 12 years, but then I also worked with other services in between that to save up for a house and things. So I worked at Gateways Support Services for around 8 years in between the 12 years with Coringal, and also Department of Health and Human Services it used to be. So I worked at a lot of lockdown facilities, a lot of behaviours with concerns. So as a young person, learning all this even more so, by the time I was around sort of 25, I felt like I've dealt with a lot of people's needs and supports, and whatever disability they had, we can work with it and support them and try to get them onto a track where they've got that sense of belonging and purpose and knowing that they can have a better tomorrow and better future. So pretty much for the next sort of 25 years, up until 22 years, it came up sort of really up till Lazarus, really.
So ask you a question, Michael. Do you think it's getting worse? Are we recognising that there are differences and we're making more effort to treat and look after people?
Yeah, so look, in my 18 months here as the centre manager, that we were getting around 30 to 35 people coming through with complex needs and support, whether it's drug and alcohol, family domestic violence, whether it's homelessness or at risk, financial hardship, social isolation. We're now experiencing, 60 pluses per day. So we've almost doubled in only 18 months. I do know that awareness obviously comes about a lot with Lazarus over the last 18 months as well, but I definitely know that, there's around about 122,000 Australians really struggling with potentially homelessness, or rough sleepers. But then also you got the whole, rental crisis happening. The interest rates went up yesterday again, so that's going to be putting on more rental crisis points for people. So a lot of people will be getting evicted probably because of that, because that'll just get passed on through to rent. So it's really tough because the police are doing it very tough as well. They're seeing a lot more numbers in family domestic violence in the homes, a lot more call-outs, a lot more despair a little bit happening in the community. But the biggest driver, I suppose, would be is just at the cost of living. It's just not enough supports for everyone. I know with Lazarus we can only do so much, but we do identify that we believe with the Home Truths thing we did with Give Where You Live Foundation and Deakin Uni, and that they believe there's around about sort of 1,600 people that are in this situation. So I feel there's more than that, because I think there's a lot of people that are on the cusp of payday to payday. Australian Bureau of Statistics are saying stats of, lots and lots of people are struggling now, and obviously there's a census coming up this year, so it'll really highlight, who's really at risk of homelessness. And there's a couple of key indicators that the two quickest homeless or at risks at the moment of becoming homeless is women over 50. Because they don't have like your superannuations and stuff is what they had back then. But then also because maybe they've been a mum for 15, 20 years, and maybe a divorce has happened or whatever's happened, or lost their partner. So that's on the rise. And also young women between sort of like your 12 to 20 to 25 mark. So again, that family domestic violence is happening in the home. So a lot of them are fleeing from that situation too.
Michael, let's just pause there for a minute and describe to our listeners Lazarus House and what you do. And So a really good conception. It's a really good example. So we used to be called Lazarus House. So we were a couple of years ago, we're Lazarus Community Centre. I'm not sure, this was before my time, because when we call it Lazarus House, they drop-in centre. So we're a drop-in centre for everyone and anyone that's in need of support. So whether it is food insecurities, hygiene needs. So we do have we have breakfast and lunches 365 days a year. Non-judgmental, unbiased. You don't need any referrals. You can just turn up to 202 Myers Street at the old Governor's House, built in 1853. We've got laundry services, showers, community pantries, food vouchers, pharmacy vouchers. We have a couple of co-location support that comes in, like Hair Aid, that come in to do free haircuts once a month. OPSM come in to do eye checks for free and get free glasses if people need them as well, usually every 4 months. We have Thread Together, which help out with brand new clothes. So it's kind of like a little Sunday market type of thing. They come and activate every month. And then we also have the wonderful Nehemiah National team that come in with Home Towards Plus and the team, where they try to help speed up some housing applications, but then also help bring a nurse to help with medical supports. And we're in chats with Kenneady Health to get some doctors here, hopefully some free bulk billing in the future, as well as a podiatry team for feet care. And how many people a day did you say?
Yeah, around well, at the moment, where there's about 55 to 60 quite regularly. We are seeing hundreds and hundreds of individuals per month. Obviously, there's a lot that are in similar situations, so a lot of repeat. But then also, when you look at that, say as an example for March, with the data, we had 70 brand new people that have never come to Lazarus, never heard of us, and they've come for the first time. So
all right. Now, you're not funded, I know, government funded, but you survive by lots of volunteers. Tell us a bit about the volunteers.
Yeah, so 18 months ago, we had about 42, 43 volunteers. A lot of them were quite tired and stuff, because a lot of them were a bit stretched doing a couple extra days and stuff. So one of the first things we thought, we need to get more volunteers. So fast forward with a lot of work with our volunteer coordinator and our whole team and just the branding, we're close to about just over 100 active volunteers now. So what that's done is really spread the load of the work across the fortnightly roster that we have. So little and often helps, the dream work. The teamwork makes the dream work. So with our volunteers, we wouldn't be able to exist without them. So we've only got myself here, as the centre manager, and we've got 4 duty officers, which are only sort of 1-2 days a week on average, to help support the guests with their pathways to other referrals, to housing, to job searching and stuff like that, to also accessing maybe Centrelink, to getting their birth certificates, to obviously getting them back on a track where they feel like they're becoming more that recovery stage for them, instead of just surviving, but start thinking about the thriving side of it for them to get back on track.
What time do you open, Michael?
Yeah. So we're open so Monday to Friday, 9 till 3, and then on Saturday and Sunday, 10 till 2.
Good.
And the new facilities that have been started or nearly complete or heading in that direction?
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about what's the plans and how it's going.
Well, first of all, you knocked a hole in the prison wall. I know that much.
Yeah, so it's obviously Heritage Victoria, the walls, and obviously like the Governor House and the museum next door, which is the old precinct of where the jail is. Where we're moving out the back was built around must have been around the 60s, early 70s. So that's not heritage overlay that itself. So what it's going to give us is a bit of a quantum leap in this for us. So at the moment, if you can imagine 50 to 60 people coming in here per day with only one toilet, one shower, a kitchen that gets cooked just under 16,000 meals last year, but with no dishwasher. But you've got amazing volunteers that have, in a sense, been our amazing support with supports, as well as doing all the dishes and all the cleaning and supporting and stuff. What this actual renovation will do for us will give us a real highlight on more humanising, being able to give more opportunities for people to do their laundry quicker, to have showers quicker, to be able to feel more human quicker, I suppose, is the main thing. We're going to have more activities for them to do because we'll have more space. So we're going to look into music therapy and art therapy as well. But one of the biggest things is having a men's toilet, a women's toilet, and a disability compliant toilet. Instead of just having one, we're going to have basically 3 areas for people to use the toilets and showers as well. So, and the volunteers are very excited. There will be a dishwasher at the back, so there is already one there. We've got sort of like a half working oven at the moment, so we're just scraping across the line to get there. But we're going to have 2 brand new ovens, the self-cleaning ovens that they have, the pyrolytic ovens. And we'll have 4 washing machines instead of 2 that we currently have. So as the numbers increase, it means our services need to increase, but also our appliances need to increase as well to help everyone out.
Where does the bulk of your funding come from, Michael?
Yeah, a lot of philanthropic and foundations here in Geelong. So, we're talking from Costa Foundation as well, through to Geelong Community Foundation, Geelong Connected Communities, Give Where You Live Foundation, but even just amazing supports with like food deliveries and things like that from Food Share, Geelong Feed Me and that as well. So Feed Me Ballerine and Feed Me Geelong. And look, just really the goodness of the community donating clothes to food, and also Woolworths, probably a big shout out to Woolworths as well. So we've got creating this community trolley. So we've got all different locations from Ocean Grove to Lara to Bannockburn to Warm Ponds to Newtown, all through Lewis to Port Arlington. There's just lots of great community Woolworths that are behind us. So we've got the trolleys out the front. So if people would like to donate to that, so that can be long life milks to teas and coffees to cordials potentially to, anything that's non-perishable that you believe we're going to be able to use each and every day.
Big job, Michael.
It is a big job, but it's an important job for everyone. So I feel like I've got the energy and hopefully I think you can still class as youth as 42 this year. So I've still got plenty of time, hopefully. So touch wood that, there's a good 20 plus years, if not more, to really create a better world for everyone as this amazing Lazarus team that we have. Well, one big Lazarus family, really.
That's great. Well, as I say, I'm familiar with your story. In fact, I have delivered food there because I used to be a volunteer at Food Share.
Yep.
And I know, and we've interviewed Andrew Schauble for our podcast some time ago too. Yep. So certainly there are lots of groups in Geelong who are providing support to your organisation as well. So it's, I guess, you are probably to most people you're a best kept secret, But we hope that those that listen to this can feel their way free to maybe donate some food at a Woolies or something like that. And if so inclined, look at volunteering.
Yeah, and there's all different ways to help and support. Like we've got the 100 for 100 that's on our website. So if people want to go to www.lazaruscommunitycentre.com.au, that's a way that you can go into how to become a volunteer, how to donate, or be one of the 100 for 100. So we're looking for 100 people or businesses donating $100 a month, and that will help with our operational costs and stuff, because we still have to buy food and things like that as well. We're trying to still do other services and stuff. So we're looking into counselling as well, because a lot of people we support each day have a lot of trauma. If not all the way through to since they were childhood, that hasn't been dealt with. So not just the homelessness or mental health and stuff, we're also talking about what got them to that stage, and a lot of that's because of trauma. A good 95% of people we support every day has a lot of untreated trauma.
Michael, I can hear the passion in your voice. So that upbringing you have has definitely paid off on you over the years, because your blood's worth bottling the way you're going about it, which is fantastic.
Yeah, well,
all right, Michael.
I was going to say I thank my mum and dad for that, Graham and Irene, which is out at Leopold, so they might be listening to this too.
Oh well,
so
there's a lesson
thank
in
you, mum and dad, for the way that we grew up and all the teachings in life.
That's a lesson for many families, I can tell you that. But Michael, thank you, and I'm sorry it took us so long to get you on, but finally we've cracked it, and this will go out to a fair few people, and we are asking those who listen to us to get in touch or give you some support in whatever little way they can.
Yep. And, nothing ventured, nothing gained. So reach out any time to anyone in the community to come out and contact, and we'll be more than happy to show you around.
Fantastic. Thank you, Michael.
No worries. Have a great day.
Thank you.